Elon Musk said it's going to be $1 trillion industry. It's going to blow away any of vehicle stuff that they're doing.
It's bigger than any of it.
It's going to be bigger than anything.
Vibe, your vibe, let it collide. Find your tribe where truth can't hide. So vibe, your vibe.
All right, so here we are. We've been meaning to do this for a while, right?
Yeah, we have.
So this is Alex Schmidt, so people know, and he's got a background in IT services, and he comes from New York. He's got a well-established business in New York.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alex Schmidt. I'm from the Tovo Group, managing partner there. We've been doing IT for probably the better part of, at this point, 30 years.
Wow.
With my partner and myself, we started together and working for the same company. Became good friends. My partner, Jerry, we decided one day we can do things better and do them together by doing them together. So we started Madison Technology. A lot of our customers know us as Madison Technology. Just around COVID, right before COVID, we restructured our company into the Tovo Group. We provide end-to-end IT services, cloud hosting, IP telephony. We're essentially cybersecurity services. We're essentially your data custodian, anything and everything to do with IT and the connected systems. You know, we love data. We protect your data. We make your data very accessible on all platforms, whether it be Windows, whether it be Mac, whether it be your iPhone, your Android device, a tablet, work computers, home computers. We secure everything. We make sure everything is backed up. We make sure your environment's in pristine condition, provide telephone systems. We've recently segued into the AI space.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So part of what makes our offering in general, our IT offering, a little bit different than most companies. We know where to utilize public clouds and the benefits of the public clouds, such as Amazon and Azure. Google
Amazon
Cloud.
meaning AWS.
Yeah, AWS, Google Cloud. And we know their strengths and we know their weaknesses. Strengths being processing power, weaknesses being the security. We're a security company first and foremost. So providing access to data securely and making sure the data is protected, that's our bread and butter. And then first and foremost, what we do. Our customers trust us for that. How do you integrate AI securely? The data that the AI is accessing. Because remember, AI is only as good as the information that it's fed. Whether it's a voice bot, a chat bot, or a program that utilizes artificial intelligence to do some kind of process or do some processing or some kind of automation.
All right. So somebody uploads a spreadsheet that contains data. That's kind of where you're getting into this. So that spreadsheet could have sensitive information in it that you probably wouldn't want public.
Exactly. So the biggest players in AI are obviously NVIDIA with their GPUs and their chipsets and all of their technology. They drive the hardware component of the AI. Obviously, there's a lot of LLMs out there and a lot of platforms that do the actual learning, but the hardware is driven by NVIDIA. They're the best.
They're doing the learning, but the processing is happening on NVIDIA chips and GPUs.
So those GPUs, A100, H100, those GPUs start a used one, $15,000, $20,000 just for the GPU. Then you need a whole special server and a bunch of other hardware to integrate it into. And then on top of that, you need the expertise to manage it and know how to layer all the software on top of it and how to turn that AI system that you've purchased into a voice bot or a chat bot or that application that's utilizing the AI. Now, what we've done is we've decided to build our own platform. The reason we decided to build our own platform was because right now, the only way that you can access these types of AI resources, such as these NVIDIA, is through public clouds. Which means, guess what?
All the LLMs. And so depending on your connection.
That's right. So now
that data going over to those LLMs is potentially.
And a lot of times using private data.
Right.
You know, you don't want that data exposed to the internet. You don't want to give it to some provider online who's offering cheap CPU cycles or whatnot over the public internet for AI related tasks. Who knows where they are? They could be in India. They could be in China. They could be in Pakistan. It could be somewhere else. You don't know where they are. What we decided to do is, obviously for our customers, we've built out an AI platform, 80% through completion of the build. We've invested over hundreds of thousands of dollars in hardware, software, expertise, brought in vendors that are doing the integration. We're training our staff on the technology. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be providing our customers with the ability to integrate AI safely. The data never leaves our platform. So our customers are going to greatly benefit.
It all stays behind the firewall, I suppose.
That's correct. Now, if it's a voice bot and happen to be our voice customer, just give us a call. We can integrate that voice bot with any voice into your existing phone system. It can act as a digital receptionist that's interactive, that can answer questions 24 hours a day. It can act as a chat bot.
Could you load like your training manuals and
absolutely
and all of that to the bot? And so then that way it's got
absolutely
someone calls with all of these level 1, probably maybe even level 2, depending on how good your documentation is.
That's right.
You could handle level 1, level 2 calls just through the bot. Imagine the savings of resources, human resources.
It's tremendous. So it goes without saying, as AI evolves, it's inevitable people are going to lose their jobs. Okay. I hate to say it, but that's where the technology is going. A lot of people, especially in, back office tasks, they need to start thinking about making some kind of segue in their careers. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're early in your career, there's going to be a lot of things that AI is going to
I guess
bring.
the criteria would probably be, what I would consider a criteria would be anything that if you're doing something that's repetitive, and if that's even taking a phone call from a customer and going to a database, or let's say you're doing tech support and you have a ticketing system and you're going to the ticketing system and searching to see if you can find that problem, if it's existed before, and what did the engineer provide as a solution.
Yeah.
That kind of repetitive task, even though it takes currently today a little bit of human decision to decide how to go with the search on. But at the end of the day, it's repetitive. And that's the low-hanging fruit. And that's what's going to be taken over quickly.
So, Kirk, to your point, and it's interesting you bring this up. We're in the process as far as our internal AI project. Right now, we have a dispatcher answering the phones. Anyone calls in with dispatcher, receptionist, whatever you want to call that person, basically routing calls and doing the initial diagnostics.
What's the issue that you have? And give me some details.
Exactly.
And then, this needs to go to this person or this person or this person.
Exactly.
Or I need to bubble it all the way up to Alex, whatever the case is.
Whatever the case may be.
But that's repetitive.
That's a repetitive task. Now,
it does take some intelligence right now.
It does. But again, it's nothing you can't teach a bot to do.
Right.
The AI is so advanced right now. We're just starting with pure data collection, where the bot's going to answer the phone, have a conversation with you. 9 out of 10 times, you're not even going to know that it's a bot.
I talked to somebody recently. He said it told him that it was a bot. It was an AI bot. He goes, had it not disclosed that it was an AI bot, he would have never known that it was an AI bot. Yeah. That's how good the technology has gotten.
You can have any voice that you want, male, female, with the accent, without an accent.
You have a Midwestern accent, you have a New York accent,
Chicago accent, Detroit
whatever accent you want.
Whatever you want.
Right. And what it's doing right now is it's doing bot interviews with people, and it's wanting to get expertise across the entire spectrum of human knowledge. So regardless of what your current career is, it wants to hire you and pay you some substantial dollars. I think anywhere from, $30 an hour upwards over $100 an hour, depending on what your knowledge base is. It interviews you with an AI, and then it's going to engage you, I think, for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and basically grab all of your experience from you. What this company is doing is basically going out and building a repository of human experience.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it. I can't think of it right now, but I'll definitely link it right here, because it isn't like if you end up clicking the link and then going and applying for a job and getting hired, I will admit I'll give them a little, it's like an affiliate link kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's going to happen. Whether you choose to, you go, I'm not going to share my knowledge. I was like, well,
there's no such a thing as that anymore.
You're not going to be able to to hold your knowledge hostage anymore. It's just not, there's too many humans on earth, and it's a snowball just keeps growing and
That's
growing.
right. So the key about AI is knowledge and automation. Doing it safely and securely and providing the information in the correct way is paramount when it comes to AI automation.
How unique is this solution that you're creating? I mean, are there other companies out doing this for their customer base, or?
So the voice part is pretty standard. I mean, I call that the low hanging fruit of AI.
Right, I agree.
Everybody's got a voice bot today. Now, not everybody's voice bot has access to data.
Right, because we're all familiar with the old one. You're calling up the cable company that's providing your internet's not working. You're trying to get through this whole menu system that they've created.
That's right.
That's kind of the old school method.
That's right.
Going forward, that's not going to be the case. These more advanced systems like what you're working on.
So I'll give you an example from the platform that we're building for ourselves. We have a repository internally of how-to articles. Those how-to articles explain to our customers, how to log into VPN, how to set up your Microsoft Outlook, how to set up email on your phone. And it's customized for each customer, has specific settings that they need to enter based on who they are, domain names, and things like that, proprietary settings. One of the things that we're going to be doing is, customer calls in, has a problem with his email, can't log into their email, or bought a new computer at home, wants to set up their email. The bot's actually going to go and search through all of the how-to articles. One of them is how to set up email. Can do one of two things, either send the person the article via email or SMS, probably SMS, because their email's probably not working at that moment, or walk them through it, step by step by step. Right now, it's done by a human. Someone's got to do a remote session, connect. The goal is not only self-service, but in some cases, for example, like remediation, is going to be bot automation, where the AI is going to go and do the automation. For example, customer calls in, oh, my computer's running really slow. We have a technician. It's going to log in, look at resources on the computer, and say, oh, your memory is overutilized or your CPU is overutilized. Go and kill some processes, free up some memory, investigate the process that's causing the high CPU utilization. Our goal is to have that same agent, now an AI agent, check the processes, check the memory, check the disk. Tell the person on the phone, the customer on the phone, oh, looks like you have a lot of Firefox tabs open or Chrome tabs. I suggest you close a few tabs to free up some memory resources. Or
is that a common thing?
It's coming.
Because it seems like I've noticed like some of those tabs on my laptop when I'm running Chrome or Safari can be into the tens of gigabytes of storage. These websites are just sucking so much memory.
I mean, look, I have at any given time, I probably have about 100 tabs open. 20 of them are tabs that I always have open.
Okay.
Whether it's a stock screen or tracking information for different packages that I'm expecting, so I always have something open.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah. My wife gives me so much trouble. She sees my computer and it's just, you can't even see what the tabs are. There's so many tabs. All you see is the little icon for the page, and that's all that's visible. Yep. There's so many tabs. But it's interesting. That's a common problem as a support organization trying to help people. That you get a lot of calls.
A lot of calls. My system's running slow.
And so that's like the number one thing. It takes a lot of load off your folks so they can concentrate on the problems that aren't so specific that you can already have in the system, that these known solutions.
Kirk, here's the logic behind it. Anything that can be automated should be automated. I promise you, I will not let go of any of my staff because I love my staff. Yeah. Even though there's going to be less support. What I'm forcing my staff to understand is to be experts in their form for the technology that they're managing. So instead of being that support technician that's running around doing a thankless job of
telling people to close out their tabs,
close out their tabs, what they're doing now, got some people managing the AI platform. I got people managing my voice platform. I got people managing my Windows platform, my virtual desktop platform. Focus on managing it. Focus on staying current in that space and focus on improving it. So we become more of a proactive, take a proactive approach with our customers and with our infrastructure that we manage rather than a reactive approach.
I'm wondering maybe they can even spend more time with their customers. Like now they have an opportunity because they got more time. They can maybe have a call with that customers like how things going, is there anywhere we can improve things? How's the AI bots doing their support? Is there an area that we need to take a look at? Maybe it's not functioning as optimally as it could be. And because they've done this work of educating themselves, like you're telling, they can now go in and maybe optimize these systems that you have in place.
And that's what we
that's the mindset.
That's the mindset.
So it really hasn't changed much in the last 30 or 40 years. When I started in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember the president of the company, the CEO, president of the company, I was replacing a manual system, an inventory system that they did on pen and paper.
Right.
No computer, pen and paper. And they had like these grid forms and they had to fill out the grid and then they had to take a calculator and add it up. Crazy, right? And I'm trying to automate all this and get all the information, and really not much different than what we're doing today, right? We're trying to understand the full process and what's happening and what's the flow of the data. People were concerned, you're replacing me. You're taking over my job, Kirk. I don't like this. I don't like you, essentially. I mean, I've had people tell me, and I was like, well, the president, CEO of that organization was like, no. Now that we're collecting the data in the system, we can run reports off of it. One of them was a supply of the processor. Like now you can call the customer and say, well, we noticed you place an order for this, this, and this. Because you're using a different product in different timings, maybe if you batched this differently, we could buy more supplies at a lower cost and we could save you some money. Now that person has the ability to step back because they're not running around crazy, just trying to keep production going and keep the supplies of all the materials going into the process. They can actually sit down with the customer, take a look at all their orders over the last month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and possibly even save them some money.
Yep.
And that was his mindset back then when we're just doing the very beginning of all of this, just automating manual process and just getting it into the computer. And I think if we take a look at history, that worked out pretty well for us, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's organized this world in many ways and got us to the point of data and everything being stored electronically. The old PCs, I mean, I put my first computer together, I think I was 11 years old, and...
I didn't put one together, but I had the old TI. I don't remember, it had a cartridge in it that you could play games and but it had a basic programming language that you could write code on.
Yeah.
And that was like the first programs I wrote was it was a music program. You could play songs with using the keyboard. Each key was a different. Way back when, I don't know what happened to that darn thing now. It'd be great to have it, right? To plug it in and see if I could connect it to a TV.
My first computer was a Commodore 64.
Sure, I remember those. Those were a little bit more expensive than the TI, so I had to.
Did the Commodore thing. Then my folks got me a Commodore 128. I mean, I'm going back
128K, not megabytes.
128K. I remember I learned how to do. My first one was 64K. Everything was. I don't even think it was CGI. It wasn't CGI. Yes, CGI blocks. I remember just going and it's. Would a 7-year-old boys draw a tree with the sun in this, and trying to
just
do
electronically,
that.
color
and then
the
doing
different
function,
blocks.
and then picking out the color that I wanted to use,
and the location on the screen,
and then using the arrows to get to the location, try to draw things, and it was very interesting. At 9 years old or 10 years old, I was introduced the first time to Jane Fonda. Somehow, my cousin, he had brought me a bunch of little 5 1/4-inch games on floppy disk. One of them happened to be strip poker, black and white Jane Fonda strip poker. I don't remember how many times I won that game. Just thinking about it now, playing on a Commodore.
That was interesting. Yeah, I remember. And then in high school, the only way to write the program was on computer cards.
Okay.
So you had to fill out the cards. And then when my first few classes in college, I was still doing cards.
That was Pascal, I think, with the computer cards, no?
I'm not sure what we did on that digital. I'm not sure what language it was. I remember it was through the math and computer science department. So I think what we were doing is basically some sort of a complicated math program.
Yeah.
Or math equation. When I was in the college with the cards, I was actually writing COBOL.
Okay.
COBOL with cards. Yeah. So you had your stack of cards, and if you dropped them, oh my God, it was such a pain. I've dropped them before. You have to get them all back in order, and you got hundreds of cards for each card. It was like
COBOL, not Pascal. What am I talking about?
No, but the Pascal, yeah. I took Pascal too. So as things got advanced, I was doing Pascal, and then we had actual monitors where you could type it in using what was it called? VI, I guess. Line editor. It was a line editor, not a full screen editor. It was one line at a time. You pull the line up and you edit it just like you did so they were basically mimicking the card. You look at VS Code. The advancements we've made is just unbelievable.
Things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, you don't even have to understand the code so much anymore because you got like a VS Code. A VS Code it'll have the AI plugins with it. I think what they call it, the assistant, or you just go in. It's like, what's this code doing, and explain it. And I just had a conversation with somebody recently, and they're like wanting to do a project, and they're like, well, they need to have React. I get it. I understand you want somebody to understand React because you need them to be able to read the code. Chances are you're going to use some sort of an AI to help generate that code. And then you probably need somebody that understands it deeply to maintain it. Anymore, though, I try to explain to him, me and all my buddies, we've got decades of experience. Yeah. And one of the things that I want to get out there in the world, there's still value in that. And I think a lot of folks are kind of missing it a little bit. And since I have a background in photography, the way I explained it was, we have decades of experience taking pictures. So we know composition, we know the exposure triangle, we know what f-stops and the exposure and the ISO and how all that interacts together. We know how to compose the picture. And, let's pretend that all we knew was film cameras and how to operate them and coach the models and set the lights and all of that. And then somebody handed us, say, a brand new Sony digital camera with all these fancy menus. And there's some kid over there that's been taking pictures for 3 months, and he's learned how to use the menus, and he can move back and forth, and he can use that camera like crazy. He still doesn't have those decades of experience of the photo composition and the light exposure triangle and all what that experience brings to the table. Learning that menu system is not that big of a learning curve compared to the years of experience getting there. And I think you can apply that same thing to all the guys out there that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that are still a working age, that have a lot to offer the world. They've done systems analysis, systems engineering. There's so much more that they can offer. They don't have to be this expert React programmer or Angular or whatever flavor stack that you're talking about. It would be a mistake to write those guys off. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about as well with the staff that you've got. Bit of a uplift in your skill set, but you can definitely still be productive in today's society.
You have to be. And you have to... because one of the places he interviewed was Amazon, and working in their sorting facility. I'm like, listen, you have an opportunity. You can either get a job to pay bills, or you can start a career. I suggest you start a career, because going and working for Amazon in their sorting facility, in 2 years, they're going to have androids doing all the sorting.
Right.
Okay. And you're going to be stuck without a job, but who knows what kind of responsibilities you've layered on top of yourself at that point.
Right.
Then pivoting and
how does that experience add to you?
Exactly.
You're sorting.
You're sorting packages.
Right. It's not something you can just say, oh, look, I know how to sort packages.
Exactly. So
it's be a little bit difficult, especially when they come out with the technology to replace that skill.
There's always something you need to bring to the table, whether it's some kind of tangible skill. Like my dad, for 40 years, he had his own auto repair business. He's a people person. I kid you not. And people laugh. He's the only honest mechanic I've ever met in my life. He built a business based on his reputation.
Right. And that's a big shortage right now. Right now, there's a big shortage in auto mechanics. Actually, all of those like plumber, electrician, carpenter, maybe at some point there's going to be AI and a robot that's going to replace your HVAC tech. But I don't think that's happening tomorrow. It's probably not even happening in the next year, maybe even 5 years. It's going to be a while before all those jobs get replaced.
What's going to happen is you're still going to have that expert going out on the job. He'll have a robot with him as his assistant, maybe doing the dirt. You still need the human eyes to look at it and say, yes, that's done.
I actually just posted on LinkedIn today that I was doing some research about the trip that I'm going on. Here's my itinerary that I put together. here's actually a tour operator in the itinerary that they put together. What can you tell me about my itinerary and their itinerary? They're like, oh, yours is no good. The tour operators is good. And it's like, you're actually ended up, it was wrong, and it didn't take into full account. Now, will that be improved over iterations on these AI engines, large language models? Absolutely, it'll be improved, but there's always going to be that gap.
I'm excited about it, honestly. Would I use it? Because they will have a commercial version. Would I use it in my business? Probably not. Not, at least not now, where would, for example, like in the HVAC case, replacing an HVAC tech to go send them out on jobs to do the work. When it comes to robots and getting paid money for it, I'd still want the human eye to oversee it, or at least to some level. But for the home, that's a whole different story.
When you consider how much you spend on all of those services,
that's right,
the yard maintenance, and then those folks are unfortunately going to be out of a job.
That's why you need to.
So how do you, that's the whole question is like, how do you hedge against this AI revolution, right? Like the industrial revolution, we had cars that replaced horses. So the companies that continued making buggies that refused to put motors in them, what happened to them wasn't good, right? But the guys that decided to embrace the engines and industrial age, they did well.
You need to be a subject matter expert, SME. Take what you do every day, master it, be an expert at it. Whereas you would be the person overseeing the training or the system or something to that effect, having to do with the AI. Because AI is coming, it's inevitable. Elon Musk said it's going to be $1 trillion industry. It's going to blow away any of vehicle stuff that they're doing.
It's bigger than any of it.
It's going to be bigger than anything.
I think I saw something on Instagram. I don't know how valid it is. And it'd be interesting to know for sure, because I'm not sure if Elon has actually overtly said it, but they were saying a lot of what he's doing all has to do with the Mars. It makes sense to me.
Well,
like if you're going to want to set up some sort of human habitat on Mars, it's going to take a lot of time and muscle to do it. So
send the robots.
You send the robots to go there. You're not going to be able to have fossil fuels there. At least they don't know yet that there's fossil fuels or not on Mars. So everything's got to run off of solar or battery. So that's the Tesla that supposedly this thing I said claimed that the Cybertruck was made for roaming Mars, not so much roaming Earth. That's why it looks the way it looks. It's made out of stainless steel, so it won't deteriorate in the Mars environment. And then he's got the boring company. I didn't even realize he had a boring company. I guess they're boring holes in California for, I think, like for trains or cars or.
Oh, that's right. They got that
drills
that
big,
underground
gigantic
highway that he's building, the super highway.
According to this little, was a TikTok or something, all of those pieced together, and he's got the Tesla solar panel and batteries. So everything. So, I mean, it makes sense to me because who's the guy walking around with the Occupy Mars t-shirt on?
Well, that, he's built his own satellite system.
Right.
Okay.
Rocket, SpaceX. So everything is all about this going to Mars.
He's got the cell phone that
he's got Mars on the brain.
He's releasing his own cell phone.
Oh, really?
That's the word on the street. That's going to obviously compete with Android and iOS.
Well, and then what was interesting is another little short that I saw, and you would know this to be true because of the business that you're in. And it's interesting. He's got the cell phone. The reason why he wants the cell phone is, why do you think he wants the cell phone? It's data.
Of course.
It's about the data. And it's not about selling a cell phone service.
Of course.
So he's going to probably give those phones away.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, maybe not away, but you get my point. Make it very easy to get a phone.
Well, he's building his ecosystem.
Right. So, the entire ecosystem. What are you going to need? So you're going to need communications on Mars.
That's right.
And there's not going to be time to put up cell towers. So we'll just run satellites. We're just going to run the phones off satellite.
Well, and that's his platform uses right now is the Starlink satellites.
Right.
And that's just, a test bed.
So think about it. You got, so you're going to want communications. You're going to want some sort of habitat, which is going to have to be underground. So you're going to have to bore holes. You're going to have some way to have transport.
That's
you're going to have power. There's no fossil fuels. So you're going to have to use solar. You're going to need batteries. And then you have to get there. So you're going to need rockets.
That's right.
You're going to need somebody there to build it all. and it's going to take years and years and years. So instead of having humans go there and try to live, you can send robots.
So he's built this wonderful ecosystem for humans to
move to another planet.
And to live their daily lives. We've done the same thing for IT. We built a nice little ecosystem for our customers to bring their data and be at peace that it's managed and
get access to AI that you can know that's safe.
Exactly. Measure twice, cut once.
Right.
You ask the right questions. And when our customers are vetting out new software platforms, I encourage them to get me involved, to get my team involved. Make sure we ask the right questions. Make sure that we know.
What do you find that they're like searching on to find you? Like what is it that they're trying to solve? During
COVID, it was easy. Everybody needs to work from home.
Okay.
So for that 6-month span where everybody was sitting at home, needing to do their day-to-day tasks, that was easy. Now it's evolved. People still want to, in some cases, work from home. In some cases, work from the office. But they want to be able to securely access the same data, be within compliance within their respective field. So whether it's HIPAA, whether it's FINRA, it needs to be easy. We find that we get a lot of business from people that are looking for that, but still, for us, the best business has always been word of mouth. Customers that we work with, we've been working with them for, in some cases, 30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So some of the first customers that you got with your partner, Jerry,
yeah, and
you still have today.
We have today, and they've either been following Jerry around or myself, or, I always take that same approach that my father taught me. And I say, the honest mechanic,
right.
There's no other way to do business, because I don't want to, maybe from religion or the way I was raised, what goes around comes around. And, I try to be as honest and forthcoming with my customers. Sometimes they don't want to hear it.
Right.
But, it's like, you either do this or you're going to have these problems. And, I can only help so much.
I always took the approach that you have an obligation, at least tell them. If they don't want to listen, well, that's on them.
Sometimes you got to tell them 3, 4, 5 times.
Right.
I don't know if you know, Windows 10 end of life next month.
Oh, really?
I'm telling my customers already for the last 2 months, you have these machines that need to be replaced. Some jumped right on it. Great. Do the remediation. The other ones.
So the end of life meaning it's no longer supported. No more security patches.
No more patches. And
so if you're that point, in an industry, some industries actually require.
Yeah.
They're depending on who if you maybe contract with the government as an example.
Public company.
Sarbanes-Oxley. Does Sarbanes-Oxley require? Yeah. I think Sarbanes-Oxley is another one, right?
SOX.
So whatever systems you have, they have to be supported.
They have to be a current version that's supported by the manufacturer.
By the manufacturer. And as soon as the manufacturer says this is end of life, and I'm sure Microsoft's been saying this for how long?
They announced it a year and a half ago.
Right. So they've given people plenty of opportunity. That's so what's replacing Windows? I'm a Mac person. So what's replacing Windows 10?
Well, current Windows 11, Windows 12 is on the way. It's in late stages of beta, or may have been released.
So we were in Windows 11, 10 for how many years now? It's been a long time, right?
Been at least 4 years.
I know, because I had some work laptops and they had Windows 10. It was very stable. I think it was a nice Windows for a change.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why I'm a Mac user, is because the first few Windows were just like not very good. And I got this Mac and I was able to use it for long time without any issue. Only reason why I've had to switch Macs is they went from the Motorola to the Intel. I had to switch Macs, not because of the OS, because of the processor. They stopped supporting the chipset. And then they went Intel to the M-based
processors.
M-based processors.
Their own processor line.
I did have 2 Intel-based laptops, but on the Motorola, I only had one. I think I had 2 Intel. I also had an Intel. I had 2 Intel iMacs. My first Mac, I made fun of it. I go, oh, there's my $2,000 file converter, because I had a customer at the time that insisted everything go on the Mac, and I didn't really quite understand how to give them files. So they wanted them all on Mac formatted discs. That was back when we were using discs or the zip drives.
Right.
So I had to format the zip drives with a Mac. So I had a Mac with a zip drive in it. And I'd laugh. I go, that's my $2,000 file converter because I had a client. It was a substantial client. It was a big project. So I didn't mind buying the computer. And it sat there and it gathered dust. And then I was having problems with Windows. I'm sure this works. You just need it for email and web browsing. Let me yank it out. And it had, I think, OS 9 on it. And then 10 came out. And I was able to run 10 on that old Mac. And I saw 10 and I was like blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, this is pretty cool.
It was finally started evolving.
Yeah. Then I had another project, and part of the project, again, they wanted it developed on a Mac. And they're like, if you take this project on, we'll mail you a laptop and you get to keep it. I was like, okay, I like this, So they mailed me a laptop. And at that point, that's when I was hooked.
Yeah.
Haven't looked back since.
Yeah. It took me until the fifth iteration of Apple's iPhone to make the switch. I was always a BlackBerry.
Oh, a BlackBerry. Okay.
I was a BlackBerry guy. And I remember my sister teasing me. It's like, when you're going to switch? It's like, you know what? This gooey stuff, this tapping on glass, it's not me. And at the time, they didn't even have a phone that was compatible with the Verizon network. It's like every other carrier, it's like drop calls every half a mile. Then I remember when the iPhone came out on the Verizon network. I was like, you know what? And I got tired with the BlackBerry. They made that tapping on the glass BlackBerry with the feedback and all that. I compared it to the new iPhone. I was like, all right, time to make the switch.
Yeah. I have to say, we had I think it was a 3GS.
Yeah.
I remember getting my wife one, and she was just like, oh my goodness, you got me an iPhone.
I hope you still have it, because those things are fixing to be classics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a lot of iPhones laying around. I don't know that we ever traded them in. We just kept them.
I have an old iPod here somewhere.
I have an old iPod that had the hard drive in it.
Yeah.
Which I need to get it working, because I had a hard drive failure, and it's got a backup of all my digital.
Yeah.
It was, large enough. I think it was a 500 gig or 1 terabyte.
All the music?
No, mostly pictures and video. You could actually put movies on there. It's so big. It was the old, the wide. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
School.
Yeah, old. Yeah. I even have one that has a what do they call it?
Firewire adapter?
Firewire. It has like the one end's like almost looks like a chevron. Yeah. I don't know what that's the only way you can charge it. I'd have to probably get I still have my old Mac with the blue. They had all the different colors. One I had was blue.
Had the blue one, the green one, the pink one.
This was like a tower. I don't know if they had different colors on the tower. I know they did with the ones with the monitor, but
that was the first iMacs.
Yeah, this was a tower iMac.
Okay, so
and it came with OS 9 when it was new.
Okay, that plasticky outside. Remember that?
Yeah. It was really cool the way the case, you could just flip the lever and the case would open. And
what's today's date? The 8th?
The 8th.
So Apple's announcing their new iPhone tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I might be in the market for one.
That's going to be their
what's going to be the big
15th year.
What's the big advantage with the new one?
Apparently thinner. That's going to be the main thing. The size, 3 cameras, up to 48 megapixel each camera. The ability to use the front cameras and the back cameras at the same time.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah. One of the things that I was looking to get is the camera adapter where it feels almost like a DSLR.
Oh, yeah.
With a trigger. And that's what I was going to get. And so maybe I need to take a look at it. When's it actually going to be, where you can buy it in the store?
Probably, it's usually like pre-orders start the next day, which would be the 10th. And then they probably ship, by a week to 10 days from that.
Really?
Yeah.
I might just have to get one.
Yeah, I'm still running around with this old 16.
Yeah, I really like the cinematic that came on the one one of the reasons why I got the one I have right now is the first year they had the cinematic on the video. So I use that somewhat. It gives you the same look and feel as these cameras. So that's an interesting take on the
Lenovo. Yep.
Yeah. So they come to you because they want to make sure that their data is safe.
We do things the right way. And we don't necessarily... I love tech. I love IT. I've loved it since the age of 6 when
Got your Commodore 64.
And I got my Commodore 64, and my partner Jerry's the same. He's been in it also from a very young age. We're in the construction, hospitality.
Hospitality meaning what?
Hotel.
Hotels. Okay.
Hotel management as far as infrastructure goes.
And the phone systems in the hotel as well?
Phone systems, security systems.
Oh, all the cameras then that go on.
Camera systems, the Wi-Fi systems.
So you're probably also a proponent of like they got these ring systems out and that all goes into the cloud.
Yes.
And it's not that secure, I'm guessing, because I think actually part of the agreement in terms of services, Ring actually has access to all that video, right?
I always say a home surveillance system, that data or home surveillance or business, that surveillance data should always live in two places. A copy of it needs to be local and a copy of it needs to be in the cloud. So we always tell our customers, we've set up these systems, and if they go straight to the download a copy of the data because you don't know, again, some cloud providers, they go out of business tomorrow. They shut down the systems.
Right.
You got to know who you're doing business with. That's why
I just talked to somebody that paid money to get an app made overseas. Yeah. And during COVID, they shut down. And he spent a lot of money on it. And guess how much lines of code he got delivered? You got to keep a copy of it yourself.
You got to keep the copy. Make sure you have the source code to any software you ever develop. That's why you have to have a trusted partner.
So do you write code too in applications, or are you more of just helping them protect what they've got?
We do most of the infrastructure in the back end. So as part of this AI, we've begun working on developing software.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now we've partnered with a couple companies that are experts in AI development. And when I say development, meaning writing code that utilizes the AI functionality,
right,
or the AI capabilities. And we're starting to look at bringing in our own developers because some of the software platforms that we're building, ranging from customer intake to billing, management to license management, it's becoming more and more obvious that we need expertise to be able to not only build those systems, but ongoing manage them.
Mm-hmm. And maintenance.
And maintain them. Yeah,
right.
I mean, we're always looking for talented people. If you're an expert at something, you know it in and out, we'd love to talk to you.
There you go. Okay. So if you're out looking, how do we get in contact with you, Alex?
Easiest way is to email me, alex@netovo.com. If you're down in South Florida, we're growing our footprint down here. That I'm full-time South Florida.
I guess Jerry's handling.
Jerry's in New York.
In New York, okay. Are your customers primarily focused New York and South Florida, or are you all over?
Our customers are all across the country.
Okay.
Literally East Coast, from East Coast all the way West Coast, North all the way down to South. We even have a couple customers overseas.
A lot of what you do, I'm guessing, customers probably maybe already have a service provider.
They might have a service provider. They might have a guy, quote unquote, they'll call when there's a problem.
And so when they call you, their guy, he's retired, MIA,
MIA, doesn't call us back right away. 9 out of 10 times you call us, you can have somebody on the phone working with you.
So that's the big difference.
So that's the main difference. We bring a team. Our team is solid 11 people right now, and we're
what's the tenure of your team?
Jerry and I have been here from the beginning.
Okay.
Obviously, we love our team members. It's a family because it's
like you said. If you're not going to let this AI thing, you're not going to be getting rid of anybody.
We're not going to get rid of anybody. We're going to make sure that they always have a job, and we've got a lot of things to do at Netovo. It's never a dull moment. Microsoft's always coming out with new stuff, and Apple and all of these other tech companies. Staying on top of it. I'm 47. I used to be able to know this stuff inside out. Now it's like
it's pretty deep. All of it.
It's the younger guys.
You got AWS, you got Azure, you got all the different cloud services. That's beyond that.
Expecting one guy to be able to do everything.
It's not going to happen.
So
I guess that's another criteria, right? You have a business, you had this one guy, you've already gone to this one guy.
That's right.
It's just human limitation. There's no way that one guy can know what 11 team members can know.
That's
and
right.
be an expert in.
That's right. We manage your licenses. At the end of the day, anything and everything IT related, we'll set it up where it's one bill. We prefer small, medium-sized businesses.
Okay.
For
like
them.
do you classify that like by number of employees or by revenue?
Any business over 50 employees is considered a medium-sized business.
Mm-hmm.
Customers with 1,000 employees, 500 employees.
So anywhere from I guess maybe 5 or 10 all the way up to
we do different
projects.
We have municipalities that we service as well.
Okay.
We're very, very flexible. In some cases, we'll do project-based engagements. For the most part, we prefer managed IT services.
Managed IT services.
Yeah.
At a fixed cost per user, so that they can easily budget for it and plan.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, that's all really good to know, Alex. Thanks for sharing all of that.
Kirk, thank you
thanks for being on my
setting this all up.
Vibe Your Vibe, and
yes,
kind of got a little bit more about Alex and what's driving him, and didn't know that you started out with a Commodore 64 way back at age 6. So you've always had a kind of a love and desire for the computers.